Yeah, now we understand that the Uganda's opposition leader Kizza Besigye has been arrested and is being charged by the martial courts in Uganda for attempting to attack a military combat in Uganda. And he's currently being held at Luzira military camp in Uganda. So I think that it's coming in a shock because all this abduction, this thing happened here in Kenya. It's unfortunate because we know very well that Kenya has been the hub of peace across East Africa. And moving to it, we've already known, we knew long time ago, as early as 2006, 2007, 2008, we were watching in our news that Besigye, Kizza Besigye was being flown into Kenya to get medical attention after succumbing to injuries meted on him by the Museveni forces in Uganda. So I think it is not really so good because we have a history of being with our brothers from different countries. Kenya has even birthed the independence of South Sudan because we proved to be a country of high standards in terms of human rights. In Kenya, we had John Garang visiting all the time. He appeared like an aboriginal of Kenya. He did his plans from here and everything worked out for South Sudan. Everything that ever worked out in South Sudan happened from Kenya. And that informs the reason as to why, even if you look at their flag, it nearly resembles Kenya's flag to a tune of 90%. If you look at their national anthem, it really resembles ours to a tune of 90%. And even their governance structure and the rest, they are only tiptoeing on matters democracy and the rest. And now it now appears into fore that East Africa of today is currently being led by two criminal regimes, both in Uganda and Kenya. One by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is the mentor to William Ruto. And since ever the Kenya Kwanza regime got its feet onto the governance of this country, Kenya has lost its face on the human rights, and we are really not doing so well because as a country, we have had for the past 2 years a transition where our brothers from different countries who come here to seek asylum, they've done nothing wrong in our country. They are being forced, they are being repatriated back to their countries, forced to go back and face death penalties. It is very unfortunate. And I think we owe a lot to the people of Uganda. Serious apologies. And when I saw the Kenyan Foreign Affairs Permanent Secretary, Mr. Kosgei, indicating that the abduction that was done in Kenya, the abduction of Kizza Besigye, was done merely because Besigye did not inform the Kenyan authorities of his presence here. Then the question is, who does not know Kizza Besigye? That's number one. Number two, Kizza Besigye did not come here as a persona non grata or anything. Besigye came direct from the Entebbe airport in Uganda. He landed at JKIA, where he was screened and every other thing. So I'm wondering what Permanent Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Kosgei, really meant by claiming Besigye did not inform the Kenyan authorities of his presence in Kenya. I think that is a hypocrisy of the highest standards. And I think that moving forward, we can only round up what happened to Museveni among several other cases in very few points. Number one, that Kenya has lost its sovereignty to Uganda. Number two is that Kenya has become a condominium region being managed by Uganda under the auspices of William Ruto. And William Ruto is acting as an ambassador, as a Ugandan ambassador to Kenya in totality, because he is now charged with the mandate of humiliating Museveni's competitors seeking asylum in Kenya more. It is very wrong. I can equally also say that William Ruto and Museveni are living in the fear of the unknown. And it is very true now. We can confirm and we now believe that with these happenings, the military or the Ugandan police really participated in the killing of the Gen Zs in Kenya in June of 2024. Truly, because we saw their presence there. These men who are masked all over, these were the Ugandan policemen. And we can equally confirm, as people from the Lakeside region, that it is true that the abduction done to the fishermen in Kenya, especially in Migingo Island, is being done by the Ugandan policemen. It's really not right. It's really something that needs to be shammed down. And it is true to say that Museveni's son, Muhohozi, was very right in his mind to have said that he can annex Nairobi, Kenya, the capital of Kenya, in less than 24 hours, that he can take and capture Nairobi in less than 24 hours. That can tell you how deep the Ugandan forces are right inside the Kenyan territories. Then we are asking ourselves, where is the sovereignty of our country? And this informs the reason as to why there are several abductions in this country. We have femicide cases, we have cases of human organ harvesting, and several other cases that really involve matters of human rights violation. As a country, we cannot keep quiet. We cannot shut down, and we cannot tone down on this anymore. And I have an issue with Raila Amolo Odinga when it comes to this case. He never raised his voice. Actually, the only person in ODM who raised his voice is James Aggrey Orengo, the governor of Siaya, who said that what is wrong is wrong. Kizza Besigye ought not to have been, picked from Kenyan soil by the Ugandan forces. I think their mandate is zeroed to Uganda. It should not happen here in Kenya unless we've lost it as a nation. I think Orengo was right into that. And Raila, just as the former presidents have always done it to him, he's being used to play some gimmicks of which he later on regrets. He's the same man who was used by Moi Kibaki to go and displace the Kalenjin people in Mao. And Kibaki was very smart to an extent that he sent a cheper to Raila and equally some kind of pecuniaries to him and ensured that he was well fueled. And Kibaki said that he was committed elsewhere, only for Raila to go there and meet the harsh reality. And that is how he lost the Kalenjins in his vote basket. It is very unfortunate that right now that he thinks he's supporting William Samoei Ruto and that they are going to reciprocate. I can tell you the South Rift residents, the residents of Rift Valley South are not really happy. They are disenchanted by the happenings towards the removal of Gachagua from office. They are seeing hypocrisy of the highest degree in that. Even right now, we can even see the same card replicating itself. Why? We have seen a situation where Raila has been, sojourned and has been roped into bringing two individuals. I want just to mention two out of the four individuals that he brought, Wandai and Mbadi. Mbadi is reintroducing the infamous finance bill that people died on the streets, our Gen Zs died on the streets trying to protest over. He brought in Wandai, whose major role was to facilitate the actual procurement and the tendering process of the Adani Ketraku deals. Look at what has happened right now. Raila has been slapped with an egg on the face today because William Ruto today is walking everywhere trying to garner credit by cancelling the Adani deal and is categorically stating that he was not part of it. So it means that Adani now becomes Raila Amolo Odinga's own brainchild and ODM's kind of an idea. So really, he has to think deep. And when you see uh, the first wife being beaten down, as the second wife, I think you must be very worried, unless you have got some issues of ignorance into you. Because what Kizza Besigye is going through in Uganda is a humiliation that should be condemned in the highest standards possible. And I think that moving forward in this East African community, if we do not come strong as the populace and people of a region, because there are so many things that tie us together, that binds us together. Our migration, mostly from the north. Every other person have got traces in Uganda. Some, like the Luos, have got traces in 8 countries in Africa. We need to come out strong and condemn this totalitarian regime of William Samoei Ruto that is roping Kenyans into submission. Is trying to create issues, is trying to make sure that we break the same halls that has brought this society called Kenya. Thank you.